Welcome to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Night Nation's only call-in show goes live now.
Alrighty, this is Andrew Phegley here at the Victory Casino Cruises.com studio live on ESPN 580 Orlando. And we're going to be talking the UCF game, of course, because that's what we talk about. Joining me is Sam Albuquerque, which is nice to have you back, Sam. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's nice to be back. I'm always glad to talk some of my alma mater on air.
Absolutely awesome. You've been gone for the last couple of weeks, so it's like I said, it's nice to have you back. Kyle Israel's going to be joining us here in just a little bit. We've got quite a bit to talk about this game because it wasn't exactly what everybody expected, I don't think. I thought after the losses the last couple of weeks, or two losses, the last week being the loss to Cincinnati and then having a bye week, I thought the guys would come out a little bit more fresh than they did. I thought maybe we would stay on the gas a little bit longer than we did. So that's my biggest concern as far as that goes. We won UCF 41-28 over ECU, but it all kind of fell off in the third quarter. Coming out of halftime, it got really weird. So what do you think about that, Sam? I mean, that's one of the things I know the callers, when they call it 844-225-5580 on the Dever team line later on. We're going to take those in segment number 2, but what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's a pretty simple thing. As we as UCF fans think we should always be on the gas, and I think the Bam Moore injury earlier on this season really affected how Heupel deals with big leads. And we were up 35-6 at halftime. I think Hype has gotten into the mode where we're going to bench everybody. We're not going to put our feet on the gas and kill these teams because we lose players if they play the entire fourth quarter. And I think it's starting to bite this team in the butt. Like, it's starting to get to a point where we don't know how to turn it up when we go down to a Pitt and we go down to a Cincinnati, because we're not used to it. We're used to being up 21-0 in the first quarter and then moving on, and then that's it. Like, it's the third quarter, time for me to sit. Adrian Killens, I know he didn't play much. I think he got hurt last night.
Yeah, an ankle or something.
Yeah,
early, very early.
But guys like that are used to be like, okay, I only played 2 quarters because we're up by 35 by the time that the third quarter rolls around. So I think most UCF fans are getting frustrated by that, and I think this team has a mentality of, if we're not up by this much, we don't know what to do.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I just feel like maybe there's issues with adjustments by Heupel, possibly, and I think that's what a lot of people are thinking. A lot of fans are thinking, because that's the comments that I'm getting on Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff. By the way, you can reach me in 2 places on Twitter, at UCF_Knightline and AP at AP.night underscore Knightline on Twitter as well, my personal one. Yeah, I mean, so there was lots of, good stats and stuff. I mean, incredible stats, but stats don't win you games. Luckily, we won this one because I honestly thought that ECU really had a chance of coming back. We had 611 total yards, and ECU wound up with 483 yards. Lowly ECU wound up with 483 yards of total offense against UCF. And I just feel like that's a little bit much. I mean, the defense came out flat when they came in the second half, and the offense definitely came out flat. We punted, I think, four consecutive times coming out in the second half. And I think that's a little crazy.
See, yeah, and like you said before, I don't think the stats tell the story, because if you look at the aggressiveness Randy Shannon's defense switched off in the second half, because that's usually what happens. You get up by 30 points and you go into prevent, and you're just trying to not let them score all those points really fast. And it worked when you go to according to plan, but you still let them put up, 16 plus 6? I don't know how to do math. Like 22 points in the second half, which is too much. But at the same time, like, they didn't get all those 22 points in one quarter. It was spread out a little bit because you play cover 3, you play quarters, you let these teams get all the stuff underneath, and they accumulate yards. I'm more interested in what the stats are in the first half when we were trying to score and we were trying to stop them defensively and we were being aggressive, as opposed to the second half. It is worrying because the scoreline shouldn't be 41-28. It should be 50-0.
Yeah.
But at the same time, knowing the mentality of this coaching staff, it's not that concerning when it comes to beating ECU. It's more concerning about how do we prepare to beat the bigger teams, which we don't really have many in the schedule going forward. We've already gotten past that tough part.
Temple, and that's what I'm most
Temple,
worried
but
about for next week.
like Cincinnati and like Pitt, we expect to beat a team like Temple, and that's the way I view it right now. And I'm still holding this team to that level of a competitive football squad.
Right. Yeah, I'm worried about Temple. Temple is a good team. Even though they didn't come out on top of their game, SMU is a really good team. The American has really, really kicked it up this year. It's definitely, I think everybody saw what UCF was doing, and they kind of wanted to do the same or at least as good, So that's definitely been interesting. Dylan Gabriel had 365 yards, 2 touchdowns, 22 for 35, got sacked a couple times. What do you think about the game that he had? I thought it was great, personally, except it was great in the first half, not so great in the second half.
I'm starting to notice a trend with Dylan, and I think he's a phenomenal thrower of the football. I don't think anyone can sit here and debate that, but I think a lot of the times he's just trying to make the best, or not necessarily the best play possible, the most dynamic play possible, and it turns into a 22 for 35 performance. Like, he shouldn't have 13 incompletions. He's too accurate of a thrower of the football to have 13 incompletions. And I think a lot of the times he's trying to push the ball down the field when he could just take the check down, learn a little something from those check down Charlies and develop your accuracy in the short term and don't sacrifice incompletion, don't sacrifice yards by trying to make the big play. And I don't know how much I want to put that on Hype, because it feels like that's a Hype like sort of model. I feel like Hype wants him to push the ball down the field as much as possible, and it works when we're playing teams like ECU. But if he's not hitting those deep passes, it seems like he doesn't know what to do, and that's what I'm worried about in looking at the longevity of Dylan so far this season, not just this game.
Yeah, it seems like that he was overthrowing people a lot, and I don't know if I just don't know. I wonder what happens sometimes, like at halftime during some of these games. I wonder, I think we knew with George O'Leary that he would go in back in the day and yell at everybody at halftime, and they would come out flat a lot, in the second half. Nowadays, I don't know if that's happening or what, but it just seems like everything changes. And I wonder also, is that part, and I don't know if I said this already or not, because I don't really remember stuff that I say, but I wonder if Heupel has trouble adjusting to the changes that other coaches make at halftime. That's another thing that's been brought up by many people to me. So, that could be part of it. I'm not sure.
Can I ask you something? Like, we're about a little bit past the halfway mark here of Heupel's second season. I think this question has been floated out there a lot, and we don't question. We as UCF fans tend to side with our guy, and Hype being our current guy right now. Do you think Heupel's a good coach? Because I think it's gotten to the point where it's a fair question now. You can't just point to the record and say, "Oh, he's only lost 3 games," and he's lost 3 games in about 17 wins. That's a pretty good record
by a total of 12 points.
Yeah, but
this year.
But I want to know your opinion on this, because you point out the adjustments. Some people have pointed out the play calling, and I look at the record, and when you're put up against teams that are better than you, it doesn't feel like Hype rises to the occasion when it comes to these big games. And I want to know what your opinion is, because I know you follow this program closer than I do, and I think I follow it pretty dang close.
This is a difficult thing for me, because I am a huge Heupel fan. I am. I like the guy. The very first time that I ever met Heupel was at the spring game of his first year. I went back there. Went back there with Mackenzie Milton's dad, basically, in this little area where on the practice fields where they do like their thing for the players and the families and all that stuff. And the guy came up to me and talked to me like I was supposed to be there, like he knew me and I was one of his best friends that he hadn't seen in a long time. So I really like the guy. I think the guy is a totally real dude. So I do have a little bit of bias as far as that is concerned. I love the guy. But lately, especially, things are I don't know if he's been exposed. I don't know if you would call it exposed, but yes, he's a second-year head coach. That's the other thing. I mean, we'll make all the excuses that we possibly can for Heupel, as far as I'm concerned. But I just feel like something has changed. All right. Hey, Kyle Israel, by the way, is here.
I've snuck in.
You've snuck in. Hey, thank you very much for coming. Appreciate it.
I apologize for my tardiness. Coach O'Leary would be very unhappy at me right now.
All right. Well, we were just talking about how maybe, Sam, you explain the question that you ask and ask that to Kyle, because I tried to answer it.
No, it's as simple as we're far enough into Heupel's career as a head coach here, and we've seen the good, we've seen some of the bad, that it's fair for us to evaluate how good of a coach he is overall. Like, I think there are some issues with the play calling that's been brought up by many people in the UCF Nation. Mm-hmm. There's some issues with we talked about it before you got here, Kyle, about him taking taking the foot off the gas pedal when we're up on teams like ECU 35-6 at the half. I think that the overall picture, it's fair for us to now question Heupel as a upper echelon type coach. Like, I know he's not a bad coach. I think we've gotten to the point where he's not a bad football coach, but I don't know how great of a football coach he is. And I think it's fair for us to ask this question now, and that's the question I brought up to Andrew, and I ask you, Kyle. Like, what do you think of Heupel a year and a half into his tenure as head coach of UCF football?
Well, I'll say this. Number one, I think it's a much more difficult job than we are kind of looking at it as. I think the transition from Frost, the reality of the situation is we are so talented, it's almost debilitating in many ways, because I'm confused as a fan watching, like, who should be in the game? Like, should Marlon Williams be in the game, or should we have a different tight end in the game? Should Jacob Harris be in the, like, I'm just trying to figure out who's supposed to be running the football. And I don't think, if I was going to be critical of Coach Heupel at this point, it's really hard to get super critical of a guy that's lost 3 games, although you'd say, well, we could have won probably 2 of those, right? But I think he's having trouble figuring out who should be in the game, who to hand the ball off to.
Because we're so loaded?
Because we are so loaded. I said to him at practice before the season started, I said, I do not envy you having to put game plans together with all of this talent. And it becomes seemingly debilitating. Now, I think Coach Heupel's a very good football coach. I think he's a good offensive mind. I think that we'll continue to get more the style of player that he wants. I think the running backs that we have don't necessarily fit his scheme, right? We've seen more up the middle. Bentavious Thompson last night broke one up the middle. I think he's closest to the style of running back that Coach Heupel would have in his offense. I don't think Adrian and really even a Greg Otis a little bit more are the style backs that he wants to run his offense. And so I would like to see more sideline to sideline. Coach Frost was very good at creating misdirection and getting the ball in our fast guys' hands so that they could hit the corner and get around the edge. In our offense, it's up the middle, vertical passing game, screen out to the sideline, which drives me insane, those screens to the sideline. But I think he's a good football coach. I don't think that he's an upper echelon football coach yet.
You don't
but
think
again,
that he's an elite coach?
He's not an elite coach yet, but he's only been a head coach for 2 years. And Coach Frost may not look as elite as we thought he was now at Nebraska.
Exactly.
And so what is elite? That's very hard to define, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I just, I feel like people are really down on him. Fans just down on Hype so much.
It's so funny to me. Like
it's crazy.
Like, what are we, 5-2 now?
Yeah,
5-2
this morning.
2-1 in the conference.
Like it's tough because really, since the Pitt game was pretty crazy, the Cincinnati game we had to win. I know we're against the break here, but we should have beat Cincinnati. I think that a little bit better coaching in certain areas, a little better discipline in certain areas, which is the thing that I scratch my head about, those penalties versus Pittsburgh. Coach Heupel is somewhat of a disciplinarian.
Right.
He doesn't run this free program.
I've got that on the list to talk about as well. We will talk about those things and many more after the break. 844-225-5580. We're taking your calls right after this.
Hold your breath. The home of the NFL is ESPN 580 Orlando.
Yes!
Another triple header Sunday when the Miami Dolphins travel to Buffalo to take on the Bills. Coverage begins at 11 with kickoff at 1 p.m. Then at 4, the LA Chargers take on the Tennessee Titans. Then Sunday Night Football has huge NFC East matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. Right here on ESPN 580 and FM 96.5 HD2. Football lives here.
Oviedo Brewing Company is the hottest microbrewery in Central Florida. Located 7 miles from UCF at the Oviedo Mall, this 8,800 square foot brewery just opened its doors 6 months ago and has already crafted 13 unique beer flavors and counting in their tap room. The tap room contains different styles of beverages, including ciders, wines, and craft sodas. Not only do they have amazing beers, they also have a full kitchen with gourmet pizzas, wings, and tacos. Oviedo Brewing has activities for each day of the week, such as Taco Tuesdays, Trivia Wednesdays, Pizza and Pint on Thursdays, plus live music on Friday and Saturday evening. But the best is Sunday brunch with unlimited beer mimosas. Need a spot for game day? Oviedo Brewing is just the place with their large TVs to catch all the live games. You also find Oviedo Brewing at UCF tailgating sampling beers. And OBC support for the Knights doesn't stop there. If you need a spot for UCF away games, come to Oviedo Brewing Company. You can get all the details on their Instagram or Facebook page. Follow them at Oviedo Brewing CO. Download the Untapped app, and you can find out what beers are on tap. The food menu is also available on their website, oviedobrewingco.com.
The average car or truck on the road is 10 years old, so how do you afford to keep your vehicle running after your warranty ends? Don't overpay for parts at the dealer or auto parts store. Come to Budget You Pull It for the largest selection and lowest prices on used auto parts in town. Budget You Pull It is a self-service auto salvage yard with more quality used parts than anyone else around. We also pay top dollar for your car, no matter what shape it's in. Plus, we buy scrap metal, small or large quantities. Pull your own parts, but don't pull a lot of cash out of your wallet. Check us out at budget-the-letter-U-pull-it.com.
I'm attorney Justin Clark.
Student loan debt can be overwhelming. You may be able to get out from under it. We may be able to help you reduce or possibly forgive your student loan debt.
Schedule a free consultation with me today. Visit youhavepower.com.
Offices, Maitland.
I'm Matt Damon. I'm Zachary Levi.
I'm Uzo Aduba.
Join Major League Baseball and Stand Up to Cancer as we stand in honor of all loved ones affected by this disease.
Visit standuptocancer.org/MLD.
Stand up with us.
The jewelry store with the most likes, the most positive reviews, the most raving fans is International Diamond Center.
IDC is definitely a place that I will come to as long as I live here. This will be my go-to place always.
Literally the best jewelry store in town. You'll make friends for life coming in here. I felt like family from the beginning, and it made a rather daunting task very, very easy.
They really take the time to find out what you want or what you desire in a ring.
You have to come here. There's no other option. The customer service, the time spent to do what I wanted and what her vision was, there's no other place to go.
You know you can go there, and you know that you can trust.
The value was extraordinary.
They genuinely care about their customers. It's not just about the sale. It's about the people.
International Diamond Center, the people's choice for selection, quality, value, and service.
I've got a beautiful diamond on my finger, and I'm very proud of it.
International Diamond Center.
I'm very happy to show it off.
Exclusive jeweler of the Orlando Magic and official jeweler of the Florida Gators.
It's the final quarter. What's the plan?
We're celebrating Jeep Adventure Days with the final drive event right now at Greenway Dodge. $49 down and up to $11,000 off 2019 Jeep Grand Cherokees. Want more? 2019 Cherokees, $49 down and up to 30% off, up to $9,000 in savings. We're not done. Even the all-new 2019 Jeep Gladiator, $49 down and payments as low as $348 per month. It's the final drive event happening now at Greenway Dodge, and no sale is complete without your total satisfaction. Shop 24/7 at greenwaydodge.com. Feel the Greenway Dodge difference.
Spice up your company with homemade marketing services from Tasty Gravy Creative.
Tasty Gravy serves up a menu of budget-friendly marketing, graphic design, and public relations services customized to your specific goals. Co-owned by a UCF graduate, Tasty Gravy can help refresh your brand, strengthen your online presence, or reinforce your company's message. Contact Tasty Gravy for help with your website, social media, marketing, advertising materials, and more. Visit tastygravy.com.
Whether it's on AM 580, FM 96.5 HD2, Alexa, or Google Home, we are everywhere you hear audio. ESPN 580 Orlando, Orlando's home for the biggest events in sports.
And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
All right, that is correct. We are back live from the VictoryCasinos.com studio on ESPN 580 Orlando, taking your calls at 844-225-5580, or you can text us 21232 on the Little Greek Fresh Grill text line. I'm Andrew Phegley, and joined here by Kyle Israel and Sam Albuquerque on the other side over there. And we're going to continue talking about this UCF victory, 41-28 over ECU. We will take your calls during this segment. First of all, Kyle, since you're here now, I'm going to kind of rehash what we went through in the first segment. We just kind of started talking about everything, kind of randomly. The first half looked great.
Yeah.
I mean, we were up, 35-6 at a half.
Yep.
What did you think about the first half? We're going to break this down, I guess, by halves.
Extremely efficient. And yeah, it is good to break it down by halves because there was some disparity there in the second half.
Time.
But extremely efficient by our offense. I thought that our defense came to play right out of the gate, put pressure on ECU, really didn't let them get comfortable. ECU, despite their record, has some really good playmakers on the outside. They really do. And I think we shut those guys down and just demoralized them. We took them out of the game, and the game was seemingly over pretty quickly. And that's what you expect against an ECU, right? We've wanted this team to come out, put the foot down on the gas, and that's exactly what we got. And so I know that we want to evaluate second halves and people get frustrated and those sorts of things, but we're up 35-6.
Yeah.
Okay. And a lot of different things happened in the second half, but I'm very pleased with how the first half went. Our offense is, I'm just so shocked, Andrew, that teams keep playing man-free against us. They come up and play Gabe Davis man constantly.
Yeah, and they're never going to win that.
They just don't. Yeah. Like, we're going to miss some of those throws. Dylan's going to miss some of those if we're going to take deep shots all the time. I heard what you were saying, Sam, about his completion percentage. Probably how do you get to 13 incomplete passes? And you're throwing deep balls, and that's how. But, when Gabe Davis is one-on-one, I mean, you got to take that shot. And so we can score so fast when that's the case, and then the second half's a different story.
Speaking of Gabe Davis, you said something during the break there. Say that again.
It is unbelievable what we are seeing out of him. I played with Brandon Marshall. I played with Mike Sims-Walker, Kamar Aiken, some really good UCF receivers. There's no doubt in my mind with Brashard Perryman and all the other guys that we've had, Gabe Davis is by far the best receiver we've ever had at UCF.
Really?
Without a doubt. I mean, his ability to catch the football in traffic, his ability to go up and make plays, and at his size, his ability to run away from people. I really think overall I said this before, with the success that we've had in the time that he's been so phenomenal over the last couple of years, and some of that success was when he was a freshman and sophomore. I don't know how you could put anybody else above him for UCF at the wide receiver position, and we should appreciate. I know that we come in here and people are griping and not happy, but we should appreciate what we have on the field and what we're seeing.
Yeah, we've been saying that all along on Knightline, that we should definitely enjoy what you're seeing because he will not be back next year, most likely, and you'll see him play in the NFL on Sundays. And do you think that, I mean, it's hard to predict, though, what happens to a guy when they go to the NFL because there's a lot of guys. Perryman, hasn't really done much there. he's been hurt, whatever. Yeah. But a guy like you mentioning him in the same sentence as you mentioned, like Brandon Marshall, that's big.
It is. It is, and I think Brandon was a better player after college. Yeah, without a doubt, he blossomed into a better player, and he just got in the right mind space, really. But
if Gabe Davis gets better after college football, he's going to be a monster.
He is going to be a monster. And Coach Heupel, give Coach Heupel credit. I mean, we find ways in design plays to get Gabe the football, and so I just think that we really need to appreciate what we're seeing because you never know when it's going to come around again.
Yeah. All right. Well, real quick here, what about Dylan Gabriel?
I was pleased with Dylan. I really was in the first half. I thought he made some great, phenomenal throws. More than anything else, I really love seeing Dylan run the football last night. He pulled the ball down. He got some first downs with his legs. He even made a nice little option fake and still kept the football, got out of bounds. That gives me hope for the future with this offense. For Dylan to be able to keep defenses honest with his running ability, he's maybe not as slow as I thought he may be. He looks like he has some athleticism, not extremely fast, but he made things happen with his legs. I was very happy with Dylan. I thought that he handled them rotating DJ Mack in very well. That can be frustrating sometimes when you're playing good and then all of a sudden the other guy's in. But I'm very pleased with Dylan, and I think that he's going to just continue to get better with time. Yeah, for sure.
All righty. Well, we're going to take another little break here, and we will be right back. Taking your calls, by the way. Give us a call, 844-225-5580, 844-225-5580.
The home of Monday Night Football is ESPN 580 Orlando. It's a huge AFC East matchup with the New York Jets, welcoming the New England Patriots to MetLife Stadium on Monday Night Football. Coverage begins at 7:30 right here on ESPN 580 and FM 96.5 HD2. Football lives here.
Hey, this is Travis Dever, Kai's Real Estate, the Dever team, New Smyrna Beach. Your source for real estate and everything else New Smyrna Beach. Proud sponsor of Knightline and Knightline Postgame Live. Call me anytime at 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636. Let me show you my hometown, New Smyrna Beach, UCF's favorite beach. Go Knights and charge on.
Message and data rates may apply.
Do you want to learn how to get started making money flipping houses right here in Orlando? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll be introduced to our 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Orlando area who want to learn how to get started making money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Orlando is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where we'll share how to get started making money flipping houses and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and you'll also reserve a free copy of Than's Money for Deals Guide. Just text your zip code to 82,000.
To be on the retail side and see the prices that we're able to do is amazing.
International Diamond Center's Michael Henneke used to be a jewelry wholesaler, and even he can't believe the diamond prices at IDC.
Coming from the wholesale side of the business, from here to Los Angeles to New York, I know what things go for, I know what things should be priced. So coming here, I was very shocked as far as what we're able to give the customers in terms of value.
Michael says it all comes back to IDC owner Keith LeClaire and his lifelong connections on the world diamond market.
His buying power as well as connections in the game is the best. I've never seen anything like that. Sometimes when customers come in here and we give them a price, they're shocked, like, how are you able to do that?
So before you buy a diamond at an ordinary jewelry store, a mall store, or online, come experience real diamond value at IDC. Michael says, like all his happy customers, you'll be surprised at how much more you get for your money.
They're mind-boggled. I'm happy. She gets the ring she wants, and he becomes a hero.
International Diamond Center, Orlando's direct diamond importer, with 4 convenient locations. Online at shopidc.com.
Shoot Straight's 40th anniversary sale is November 1st through 3rd. Save big at all Shoot Straight locations on the best selection of discounted firearms, including Beretta 92 FS for $429 and Smith & Wesson Shield 9mm pistol for only $299. Plus, save on accessories, range memberships, and much more while supplies last. Don't miss Shoot Straight's biggest sale of the year, November 1st through 3rd. More info at shoot-straight.com. Shoot-straight.com.
Football season is here, and time to treat your lawn with Sunnyland Professional 1608 Weed and Feed Fertilizer. Sunnyland Professional Fertilizers can only be purchased at all Lowe's Garden Centers. Go to sunnylandcorp.com to print your $2 per bag mail-in rebate. This rebate is good for all Sunnyland Professional Fertilizer products all year long. Buy Sunnyland Professional and save. Sunnyland Fertilizers are the choice of the UCF Knights and the Florida Gators. Sunnyland Fertilizers, made in Florida just for Florida lawns since 1884.
You've heard us talk about the great food at our good friend Kyle Israel's restaurant, The Little Greek Fresh Grill. The Little Greek now has franchises available. Please call 407-697-2272. That's 407-697-2272 to see what The Little Greek can do for you. Also check out The Little Greek's newest location at 3131 Daniels Road, Suite 104, Winter Garden, Florida. The Little Greek Fresh Grill. Fresh, flavorful, fabulous.
Coming up Monday, we take a look at the Eagles-Cowboys. How ugly is the NFC East? And all Week 7 action, including can the Jets actually beat the Patriots? Come on. Plus, the World Series is set, and who won the weekend? Golgan Wingo Monday.
Beginning at 6 on your Alexa smart speaker, just say play ESPN 580 Orlando.
And now, back to Knightline, the morning after on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
All right, back live from the Victory Casino Cruises.com studios, home of the only legal sports book in Central Florida. I'm Andrew Phegley. We got Kyle Israel here, Sam Albuquerque in the other room. We're going to take some calls here. Let's take the caller on line 1 there. Andrew, how you doing?
Hey, guys. Doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm all right. Well, what do you got to say about this week's game?
Well, pretty much I'm going to echo what you opened with in the first segment. I followed this team for a while, and I don't know if our team, either one, has figured out what their identity is, or since this team has been so accustomed to winning, they don't know what to do after a loss. I just didn't feel like our team had an identity, especially in the second half. I mean, it seems like the majority of the team's motivation, drive, eagerness to prove a point that they're not who people say they are, and during a loss, and just they came out flat. And I think I haven't seen this team play this way since probably the 2009 season after a loss. It's just I'm kind of baffled. I just think this team is struggling to find an identity.
Andrew, can I interrupt you real quick? I apologize, but we went up 35-6. Are you talking flat in the second half or flat in the game? Because I do agree with you about the team's identity, and I really would piggyback that with leadership. Like who is the leader on this team? Who are the leaders on this team? But I don't know that we were flat. 35-6 just doesn't feel flat to me.
Mainly the second half.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, starting off with the blocked
punt,
the block kick, and then the subsequent 3 and outs. It's like they checked out at halftime. It's very confusing.
Yeah, and I'm not sure why that is happening, and I would love to get to the bottom of it. I don't think anybody has asked Heupel really too much about that. I mean, there was a couple things that somebody asked, but I mean, what do? You go in there and say, "Hey, coach, why do we come out flat in the second half?" I mean, I know he takes the foot off the gas a little bit. He wants to do things, a little bit differently. I don't really understand though, as well, with Andrew, why we come out and 4 3 and outs, and block punts and all this. It did seem like that they came out a completely different team after halftime.
The second half felt flat.
Yeah. Gabe Davis said that it was kind of complacency, which is interesting. I got a clip here I want to play real quick on that.
Probably just getting a little bit too complacent, scoring 35 in the first half. Kind of slow down and don't call your shots like you should, or just don't make certain blocks you should. Kind of get lazy out there. So I feel like we need to keep our foot on those throats until the clock says 0-0 in the fourth.
I think that's a great description.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to know what happened in the second half, Gabe Davis just told you.
Yeah. And
I don't know what else you want. He just told you what happened.
More of the players said that than you would believe. Everybody pretty much that was up there last night after the game was asked that question, and all of them said it was complacency.
And that would be my challenge to the players. I'm not a huge call players out. I've been on the opposite side of that. I know what it feels like sometimes, but you got to see. I'm still wondering who are the leaders when you lose football games like we have, and now guys start to say, "What's in this for me?" or "What's the next thing for me?" or "Am I getting mine?" And that can be cancerous, and so you got to avoid that. I think that leadership from players, a guy like Gabe Davis and others, is what we need, because that's what we had in 2017. That's what we had in 2018, and we seem to be missing that a little bit this season.
You were talking about, who is the leader of this team, or who are the leaders. I would think that Gabe would probably be one of them, and then Nate Evans would probably be the other one. Yeah. I heard that he was really upset at one point in the game, took his helmet off and threw it at one point. I heard on the field, and then when he got to the sideline, he threw it again. I mean, I don't know what that's all about. I would have loved to hear that. They didn't have him talking last night, interestingly enough, after the game. They had Eric Mitchell instead. Let's take the second call real quick. Roger, hey, you're on. Thank you very much for calling. What's going on?
Are we at the point where we need to start asking the question of second half Heupel? We had second half Randy last year, and that's said tongue in cheek. I'm just joking. But yeah, it was definitely a tale of two halves, in a positive way and a negative way. So vertical routes in the second half, right? So we used a lot more of the vertical routes we were using in the first half, some motion. We were utilizing the middle of the field a lot more, short passing game. And we did that, as Kyle pointed out, ECU was trying to pin their ears back. I think the opposing defenses are getting to the point where they're thinking, okay, if we can get after Dylan Gabriel, then the whole thing kind of tumbles down. And so by using the middle of the field and the short passing game a little bit more, I think we were able to break that up, and it opened up the running game quite a bit. The running game itself, we saw it with Bino Thompson and some of the other guys when they started playing back a little bit, and they started going and playing a little bit more defensively. Their defensive backs started playing a little bit more on our receivers and spread. It allowed the offense to really spread them out and opened up the offense quite a bit. As far as the defense is concerned, I've kind of been seeing a trend, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this too, but it feels like the defensive guys in the second half, especially the D-line, they're getting pressure on the quarterback early on, but they're getting sacks in the second half. And I feel like our defensive line playing against our offense during practice every week is allowing them to stay better conditioned, and opposing offensive lines are starting to break down. And the last thing I'll kind of point out is on the secondary, our secondary was pretty depleted last night. We were missing Clark. We were missing a lot of our secondary. And those guys really stepped up and played well. I mean, you looked at Tay Gowan. Johnson was their big offensive threat as far as the passing game was concerned, and they played really well. Overall, I do think part of all of this is Heupel just pulling back a little bit. There is some complacency. I mean, there was complacency on behalf of the fan base. Mm-hmm. On the second half, it was completely dead in there. Feel it.
All right, I think we lost you there. You gave us a lot to talk about, though. That was kind of weird the way that ended. You definitely gave us a lot to talk about. Kyle, do you want to start addressing maybe some of that?
Well, I do agree that there may be some offensive complacency in the second half as far as play calling, those sorts of things, and most coaches in college football would be a bit more complacent in the second half. I do think that our defense going up against our offense is very well conditioned. Now, we did give up some points in the second half, but you have backups in. And our defensive line is doing a better job of getting home and getting sacks. But I think that overall, it's just hard for me to get on here and get frustrated with this win.
That's an important point to make.
We're not in a scenario where we need to make ourselves look better by point spreads anymore. We've lost the opportunity for that to matter by losing those 2 football games. So I think that we're trying to keep guys healthy, and at the same time, you're trying to build for the future, and you're playing young guys.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I want to read these texts real quick because we do allow texts. You can text us 21232, and I feel like I don't get to these as much as I probably should. This is the most undisciplined team in recent history. The penalties are starting to get ridiculous per game. And then the other one are 3 big injuries that occurred. Are they serious? And will each player play next week? I think is what they were trying to say. I guess it's a little bit undisciplined with the penalties.
Well, I'm not penalties are undisciplined from time to time, but penalties cost us for Pittsburgh, right?
Right.
I mean, those are the ones that are magnifying, and those are the ones that
luckily they didn't cost us last night.
They didn't cost us last night, and you wouldn't expect them to cost us versus an ECU. If they did, we have much bigger problems.
Right.
But penalties arguably lost us the Pitt game,
right?
Because of when they happened, and those
didn't help us at Cincinnati. Either.
Certainly didn't help us at Cincinnati. Those were undisciplined, and I put that on Coach Heupel without a doubt. That is his fault for not being able to get guys like Cam Good and others to play within themselves in crucial moments in the football game.
Yeah, we got one more call here that's waiting. Let's take that one real quick. Hey, you're on Knightline the morning after. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Chris in Lake Mary.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, I would say that I agree with almost everybody's points that just had the last call. But one of the things that I do want to point out, and I think you just made an excellent point, is that Heupel at this point with 2 losses has to identify his next group of people for the future, as well as the one major point that I think we're not seeing is that there is no leadership in the middle. And when I say the middle, I'm saying the center, the quarterback, the middle linebacker areas. Those are usually your leaders. And right now, your leader of this team is the wide receiver, Gabe Davis. I mean, that's just the bottom line. He is the leader of the team. And a lot of times people don't take or gravitate to a wide receiver being a leader as much as the center of your football team as far as a safety, middle linebacker, center, or quarterback. And at this point, we're too young in those positions to really have that leadership that we need.
I think that's a phenomenal point, and I 100% agree with that. I think, Andrew, the biggest thing for me is finding that leadership. You think, right, Dylan's going to naturally evolve into that, but it doesn't come overnight.
Right.
And I would have expected Jordan Johnson at the center position to be more of a leader.
And I think he probably is. You just don't see it
we don't see that
as much as you see Gabe doing it, maybe. I know that that Jordan Johnson is a leader. That's just the way that he is.
His personality is
right.
We also
and he has a lot to do up there as well.
No doubt
with calling coverages and stuff like that. There's a lot that the center does not just snap the ball.
No.
If people think that,
no, they're very very very, very smart guys. Yeah. I will never say anything bad about a center at all.
Yeah, ever.
I do think it is important to mention that. That leadership key is crucial. I think in the second halves of these football games, we are trying to prepare ourselves for the future, and so you're going to give up points against teams that are trying to score points.
That's what garbage time is all about.
That is what happens, and people score points in those periods of time. So, again, it's going to come down to some of that leadership. But Gabe Davis, he is a natural leader, but he is not a verbal leader. And let's not forget, we're accustomed to arguably having one of the best leaders in what I would consider college football history. Shaquem Griffin's leadership in 2017 is going to be hard to ever match that. And so we have this expectation. I even have this expectation that's it's not a real expectation to find somebody like that again. And, but we still need that, and this team will need that as well.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take another break here, and we will be right back with Knightline the morning after.
Hey, Dolphin fans, we want to send you to the biggest rivalry game of the season against the New York Jets November 3rd. Just be listening to ESPN Afternoons with Scott and Ez every Friday in October at 5:15 for your chance to win. And then be caller number 5, and you and a guest will receive tickets to the game and 2 seats on the ESPN 580 Orlando Dolphins party bus. And be listening for a second chance to win during the Dolphins broadcast this Sunday for that bonus opportunity. Dolphins Jets November 3rd, and we've got you covered all right here from ESPN 580 Orlando. Football lives here.
Island H2O Live, a new wave of water park.
Experience the next generation of fun at Island H2O Live. You choose the music, you choose the lighting, and you choose where to share your memorable moments at Florida's newest and most immersive water park.
Island H2O Live.
Now open in Kissimmee, located off US 192 and State Road 429 on Inspiration Boulevard.
Island H2O Live.
Let's say you have ED, male impotence, or maybe you suffer from PE and can't satisfy your partner. If you have either or both of these embarrassing conditions, Premier Men's Medical Center has the solution. Meet Dr. Schwartz, a specialist in men's health.
If you're experiencing ED or PE, Premier Men's Medical Center offers custom blended medications designed just for you. There's no pain and no surgery. If you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues, not a problem. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, Premier Men's Medical Center has patients lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. You'll see results on your first visit, guaranteed, or your first visit is free. And best of all, it's affordable.
For a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians, call 407-270-3940. We guarantee that you'll see results on your first visit, or there's no charge for your consult. Call Premier Men's Medical Center now at 407-270-3940. That's 407-270-3940.
Hey, boss, how's it going?
Don't even talk to me.
Uh-oh, sounds like you're having a moment.
It's not a moment. It's just been one of those days.
Boss, what happened?
So I'm driving around doing errands and stuff. I counted 14 Safe Touch security signs while I was out. 14!
Well, I guess word's out that Safe Touch is the best.
I mean, there's Safe Touch signs in yards, Safe Touch stickers on drive-through windows, Safe Touch on billboards, Safe Touch on the radio. I'm about to lose my mind.
Boss, it's okay. There's still plenty of houses out there without Safe Touch.
Yeah, but the more people hear about the two-way communicator, the guaranteed response time, the crash and smash.
What do kids say these days? Safe Touch is going viral. Kind of funny when you think about it.
Oh, I hate Safe Touch.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops with the new arrivals from Cleveland Golf. Turbocharge your game with the new Cleveland Launcher HB Turbo Driver that delivers more speed for higher, longer, and straighter drives. And the Launcher HB Turbo Irons, which deliver maximum forgiveness, higher trajectory, and increased ball speed for more accurate and longer shots. And the Launcher UHX Irons deliver the perfect blend of distance and accuracy. Let us help you get custom fit for free today at Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Whether it's on AM 580, FM 96.5 HD2, Alexa, or Google Home, we are everywhere you hear audio. ESPN 580 Orlando, Orlando's home for the biggest events in sports.
And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
All right, that's right. Back live at the VictoryCasinoCruises.com studios here at ESPN 580 Orlando. This is Andrew Phegley, joined by Kyle Israel and Sam Albuquerque. So I got a new thing that I want to start doing. I'm going to do the craziest tweet or the craziest thing that I saw posted on Facebook about the game every week. This is the very first one. this, and I'm not going to say names on these things, and I'm not going to say the bad words, obviously, that people say in this, but this, the closest that I can get to this without going over, this 19 team has no heart, no character, no soul. They talk about being a family, but play like a bunch of orphans. Heupel is no head coach. Shannon is worthless. And DW I can't really say what they said, but jump off a bridge or whatever. Very bad hire. That's crazy.
Insane.
All this is crazy.
And our fan base, I don't want to lump everybody in.
No, not everybody.
But I'm a fan. I'm a part of that.
And I love that there are fanatical fans, because that's what fan stands for, fanatic. But come on.
It's asinine.
Asinine.
I mean, it's just where...
That is the best
First
word.
of all, I'd be interested to see what time that tweet took place, because somebody may have been a little inebriated. However... you got that?
No, I don't,
okay.
Unfortunately. I mean, I guess I could go. I need to look at that, too.
Nonetheless.
But that was the first comment under "You're drunk, get off the internet." That was the very first comment underneath there.
That's how I feel. I mean, listen, when a coach, what Coach Heupel did last year, was phenomenal.
Right.
We lose McKenzie versus South Florida. We put a game plan together with DJ Mack to beat Memphis in remarkable fashion. We don't play the best against LSU. We get outcoached, outplayed a little bit in the second half in that game. But Coach Heupel, we are really making him to be out a bad football coach, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now, I think a guy needs, you need 3, 4, 5 years, 6 years. I really think that when we see what he does with his recruiting classes,
right.
I think that'll give us a snapshot of how good of a coach he is. But he's good enough. I think it was a great hire, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But gosh, it's
and he's gonna.
How do you argue with that?
He's
tweet?
gonna
It's
get
just
better.
idiotic.
I mean, he's gonna get better.
He's a
it
young
takes
coach.
time. It takes time. I would challenge anybody at their job. Were they better in year 3 than they were in year 1 at their job? Whatever it is, whether it's flipping burgers or whatever.
No doubt.
Like if you're a financial advisor, you're better 3 years down the line than you are maybe in even the second year. So, all right. There were lots of other games that happened in the AAC this week. Some of those teams are pretty incredible. Let's hear what my friend Jeff Allen has to say about all that in the AAC report right here.
Time now to take a look around the rest of the AAC. Shane Buechele throws for 457 yards and 6 touchdowns as number 19 SMU turns back tempo 45-21 in our Spotlight Game of the Week. The Ponies are now 7-0 overall, 3-0 in the West. Temple falls to 5-2, 2-1 in the East. Number 21 Cincinnati had a tough tussle with Tulsa, coming out with a 24-13 win as Jared Dokes came off the bench for the injured Michael Warren with 91 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. The Bearcats now 6-1 and atop the East at 3-0. Tulsa falls to 2-5, 0-3 in conference. Memphis rolls over Tulane 47-17. Kenneth Gainwell recorded 9 receptions for 203 yards and 2 touchdowns and carried the ball 18 times for 104 yards. So he had 307 yards of total offense. Brady White threw for 358 and 5 TDs as the Tigers go to 5-1 overall, 1-1 in the West. Tulane 5-2 and now 2-1 in the West. Malcolm Perry had 188 yards rushing and 2 TDs as Navy grounded South Florida 35-3. The Midshipmen 5-1 and a half game back in the West to SMU at 3-1 in the division. And Houston topped UConn 24-17 to improve to 3-4 and 1-2 in the West. The Huskies dropped to 1-6 and winless in the conference. I'm Jeff Allen. We will recap all this from the past weekend and get you set for next week, including our Spotlight Game of the Week, Tulane at Navy. And I'll have my Nickel's-worth on UCF's 41-28 win over ECU because 2 cents is not enough. All of this and more on this week's AAC report only on the Knightline Sports Network.
All right. If you have not listened to Jeff Allen's podcast that comes out on Wednesday night, Thursday mornings on the Knightline Sports Network, you need to do that. It is the AAC report. He does a great job.
He does.
And really keeps everything filled in, and then he does recaps and everything.
Boise lost last night, right? Boise State?
They did to
man.
BYU.
Yeah, in Provo.
Just only lost one game.
Yep.
We'd be in. That's the first thing that would have needed to happen for us.
This has been a great show, guys. I really appreciate Sam and Kyle both being here. Thank you very much to our callers, our texters, and all that. I think we did really great today. Any last thoughts real quick here?
Listen, sometimes the cookie crumbles a certain way. This, with our football team, we're winning football games right now. We're on another winning streak. I'm okay for and excited for the second half of the season.
Sam, you got anything? Take us out of here.
I mean, I think we got a good future with Dylan, and I think even though you can doubt Heupel, I think we'll be fine. But this